magic for you this evening. Hopefully you enjoy all of it. Some of it straight from my act of pancakes and some of it not. I'd also like to introduce Beverly, who I'd like to thank you for coming up to help me. And maybe you could give Beverly a round of applause. Beverly, I sometimes use this in my magic, and you may have seen one of these before. But I'm sure you can even tell me what it is, yes? Yes, you're absolutely right. Well, you're almost absolutely right, because what it really is, it's a magic purse. And I just use it to carry around these little red balls. Because you see, when you're a magician, it's a rather convenient way of doing this sort of thing, as I'm quite sure you agree. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking one of these balls, Beverly, one in each of my hands, just like that, and I'd like you to watch my hands very closely as magic happens now. Watch. Because Beverly, the ball has vanished from my hand over there and flown across to my other hand, where it's reappeared with the other ball over there. Well, I'm going to do that again for you, and there's only one reason why. I enjoy it. It's a good reason, you see. Well, I think so anyway. So here we go, same as before. One ball in that hand, but Beverly, to keep things interesting, would you hold this one for me, please? Very tightly, in your fist if you would, just put your hand on the table. Because Beverly, that ball is about to vanish from your hand, and it's going to reappear with the ball which I'm holding in my hand over here. I should ask you before I do this, Beverly, do you believe that ball is going to vanish? Say yes, yes. Good, fine. It's just very important to have confidence in the magician, you see, and, well, I think so. It all happens when I click my fingers, so Beverly, are you ready? Here we go then. And Beverly, did you feel the ball vanish from your hand? You didn't feel it. It's going to be one of those nights again. Actually, look, I can understand that Beverly didn't feel the ball vanishing, because when I clicked my fingers, I actually felt something going just a bit wrong. And what's happened is that the ball has vanished from my hand. And Beverly, if you'd open your hand very slowly, please. You've got to, yes. Thank you. Well, let's go back to my little purse now. And you know, it's not very often that you get a chance to see inside someone else's purse. But I don't mind showing you inside mine because, let's face it, there's not very much to see. I do have another one of these bowls, though, which I'll drop down there with the other two and get rid of that for a moment. Beverly, maybe I can ask you to hold on to two of these for me this time, please. Firmly in your fist, if you would. Just hold on tight, please. Because I'll take this third and last ball in my hand like that, get the purse from my pocket and tap the ball in my hand like that, and again, like that. When I do that, the magic happens. And what happens is that the ball does, in fact, vanish. And Beverly, if you'd open your hand very slowly, please. You've got to. Let's see, Bill, can I have your assistance for this next thing as well, please? And I don't know if everybody knows Bill, but I'd like to thank Bill for coming to the Magicians are famous for doing card magic, and I'm not saying that I'm no exception, that I'm famous for it, but I enjoy doing magic with cards. And the only thing which I'm going to do this evening, which is maybe a little bit different to the card magic you may have seen before, is that instead of only having one card chosen, I'm going to invite both of you to choose a card. And let's see, Beverly, we may as well start with you. I'd like you to just say stop anywhere you fancy, and we'll select a card that way. Over there, Beverly, please take a look at that card. But the main thing is, to keep this interesting, not only should you not let me see what it is, but don't let Bill see what it is. In fact, keep it to yourself, all right? Take a good look at it. Remember it well, because it can be a terrible anticlimax if you do forget it. Just slip it back there if you would. Thank you very much indeed. And Bill, same thing with you. We're going to have you choose a card. Don't let me see it, and keep it to yourself. Don't let anybody see either. Just say stop. Over there, Bill, take a look at that card, please. Remember it well, because again, it can really ruin the outcome of this whole thing if you forget it. Just slip it back on top. Thank you very much indeed. We'll just cut the pack a few times. Okay, that's the end of the pick a card at any card phase, and this is where we come to the phase where we find a card, and hopefully not just any card, hopefully the cards that you have just been picking. There are two cards, so I'm going to try and find one of them in each of the two halves of the pack, and we'll start with you, Bill. Your card, hopefully in this half of the deck, when I click my fingers, turns itself over and becomes the only face down card in the whole half deck. Now you, Beverly, your card is going to make itself known somewhere in this fan of cards. Beverly, for the first time, would you please tell me what was the name of your card? The Jack of Clubs. And Bill, going back to your card, what was the name of your card, please?
Jack of Clubs.
No, that was Beverly's card. Your card was the...
Jack of Clubs.
No, your card was the... Actually, look, I think I'm getting it to understand what Bill means. Bill, I'm afraid you're only half right. But on the other hand, Beverly's only half right too, so it doesn't really matter because all these things work out. This is a branch of magic, and it's you're probably saying to yourselves, it's a 4-ace trick, but wouldn't be quite right. It's actually a 4-ace and a 4-king trick. Truly, it does use the 4 kings, and there they are. And it does also use the aces, and you may like to remember the order, although it's not too important. You got the ace of spades, the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs, and of course, the ace of hearts. We'll just drop the aces down there for a moment. We'll come back to them in just a little while. Meanwhile, I'll take the kings and fan them out just a little bit. And I'm going to take the aces and sort of insert them face down between each pair of face-up kings. So the first ace goes face down between those 2 kings, the next one goes in there, the next one goes in over there, and simply of necessity the last ace is going to have to sit on top like that, simply because there aren't enough kings to go around. And in fact, because this ace is not really trapped, I don't think we'll use that one. We'll just use the remaining 7 cards. Just to be on the safe side, we'll cut it somewhere to the centre of the deck. That'll do just fine. That leaves us with just 7 cards, the 4 face-up kings and the 3 face-down aces sandwiched between them, and here they are. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The magic happens when I click my fingers. Now. The aces have to be somewhere. The aces have to be somewhere. If I cut the cards once, twice, 3 times. I should just mention while I'm tidying these cards up, yes, I do work at the Pancakes restaurants, and you may have seen by now in your convention bags a little diskette which looks rather like, where have I got mine? Rather like this one over here. And if you take it down to the restaurant anytime this weekend, they're open 24 hours a day until midnight on Sunday. They'd be happy to exchange it for you for a fresh pancake, and hope you enjoy it. Now, just before, don't clap, until you've had them, then you can clap. Beverly, when you were holding the sponge balls for me earlier, I was just admiring one of your rings, and I wondered, does it come off at all? May I borrow that for a moment, please? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. If anything goes wrong, you can have my car. Fair enough? Great. That's a very attractive ring. Was that custom designed for you? Yeah. Terrific. It's a very attractive ring anyway. What I'm going to be doing, Beverly, with your ring is something along the lines of what I was doing before with my sponge balls. The main difference being that the sponge balls, I don't know, they don't have any intrinsic value. They lack interest in that, in that manner, in that way. And also, you could say they're my sponge balls, but this is your ring. Beverly, I'd like you to watch very closely because I'm going to hold your ring in my fist like that. It's going to dematerialize from my hand and fly invisibly across the air and rematerialize in my other hand over here. Though it hasn't happened yet because the ring is still there. It actually happens on the count of 3. Not yet. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Beverly, did you see your ring dematerialize? Because truly it did. Beverly, your ring has dematerialized from my hand, flown across, and rematerialized in my other hand. Sorry. Beg your pardon. This is just a little bit embarrassing and potentially very costly, seeing as I did promise my card if anything went wrong, and I'm terribly sorry about this, Beverly, but let me just point out which one it is. Beverly, it's... I think it would suit you better than it would suit me. I think I'll keep my card, so let's just get that off. Thank you very much indeed for the lower. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to move on to another table. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed performing for you, and we look forward to chatting with you the rest of the convention. Good night, everybody.
David Kaplan, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause.